It's time. What's up, tea people? It's Denny.
And this is James from TeaDB. We have here some Pu'erh tea from Yunnan province. We have some tea from Tea Urchin, actually.
Yeah.
Who is a tea vendor that goes to Yunnan often, so they have their own set of pressings. This is from their original set of pressings. That's actually all the way from 2011, so that's
cool.
Almost 7 years old.
We've had a few of their teas on the show before.
Right. It's been a while. And this one has been provided by Stefan, a.k.a. the Man O.T. I think he's got a blog with that name. So it's not just like a mesh. It's not like what you should call him if you are friends with Stefan. I think. Maybe I'm totally wrong.
Definitely should call him
yeah. So you can see from the leaves here that they're really big leaves.
Yeah.
It's autumn material. It's from Guafengzhai, supposedly.
Okay.
Excited to try this.
Yeah, cool. It's always fun too to I don't know, not that I don't know the scale of the operation for Stefan, but in terms of just like a pet project, I just, one day James will be pressing his own
No, I don't think so.
own Pu'erh, and I'll be like, oh, this is sweet. Or bitter.
Probably bitter. Probably the bad kind of bitter. Alright. So let's take a sniff of this.
Smell this. It doesn't have too much of a dry leaf smell.
Ooh.
But let's smell the
very
oh my gosh.
Still smells pretty young. Foresty.
Yeah. Wow. Really foresty. Really yeah. Piney with a little bit of smoke. Just a hint of peat.
And if I were to guess from just this, without having known what the tea is, I definitely would not have guessed 2011. So storage is definitely on the drier end of things.
At least it smells like it. Let's see how it tastes. The core is pretty translucent, I guess, technically, right now. Although it'll clean up much more akin to a young raw if you were to just look at the core. The actual color of the tea itself is pretty light and a little yellow, a little golden.
It's possible my brewing is on the light end. I'm sort of steering it that way to start, just to not destroy us.
Yeah, I was gonna say it because there's plenty of leaf in there. I think it is good to tread lightly with these teas you've never had before.
Yeah, so I'm using a lot of leaf, but so we'll increase the brew times if necessary.
Cool.
Ooh, yeah, that smoke, pine, I think you're right on. I think it's pretty similar in this aroma.
Leaves definitely do, you have a little bit of variety in here,
yeah.
And they definitely do look pretty dang green still.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
A little bit of red in some of those leaves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's just a really wonderful piney. So there's in eastern Washington, it's sort of a dry, piney, deserty environment that is just exactly what it smells like. It smells like clay elm in a good way. Pine needles. Let's give it a shot. Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh, this is hot. Something light to start. Surprisingly sweet.
How's the viscosity?
It's good. It's definitely not like syrupy yet, but it's thick. I wouldn't call it oily per se, but I don't know.
Yeah, there's not a lot of like flavors that straight up jump out at you for this tea, I would say. If you wanted to describe it as stuff, you could definitely go sort of the way of the aroma, but the taste of it's a lot lighter.
To start.
Yeah.
It's the first TB. Yeah. Definitely, so I'm sitting here staring out from the space, but I'm really just experiencing the tea still. I mean, I think there is a nice lingering flavor going on for sure.
Right.
Yeah. And are you tasting any of the pininess or the smokiness in it?
Little, not much.
Yeah, not much yet.
Not much.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't know. One way to measure sort of the quality of Pu'erh can be just to after you drink it, to just sort of see how it tastes in your mouth. And I could definitely say that while this tea, the first tea, didn't have a ton of flavor, I can feel the aftertaste working already.
Completely agree. Yeah, I mean, so in that, in some sense, promises more to come. And so we'll see how this brews out. I suspect this tea will go for quite a bit of time. It's definitely getting deeper in color, really becoming that golden yellow. It tastes, I'd say, young but not harsh.
Definitely not harsh, yeah. It doesn't... well, the first steep definitely didn't have any of that astringency or anything like that. Let's see how it keeps developing.
Totally. Cheers.
A little bit of fruitiness in this one.
I'm getting a little bit of a grassiness, a little bit of a crisp grassiness thing going on, almost like those jade oolongs or maybe a sencha of some sort. It's subtle. It's not like it's overpowering. It's still very pu'erh, but just a hint of that. It's sweet too. It's not particularly bitter at all. It's quite well balanced, actually.
Yeah, a little step up in flavor for this one, for me at least. Kind of has a nice profile with like a few different flavors sort of lingering in the background. For me, it's some of those like florals as well as like a little nuttiness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I get the nuttiness too, and pretty approachable, I'd say. I mean, especially for this isn't the youngest. I guess what is this? 7 years old?
Yeah, but it aged dryly, and I believe in Shanghai. So, so I mean, you could definitely have teas of this age that are pretty strong and overpowering and not very pleasant to drink.
Yeah. A little bit of a mouth puckering residual thing going on. Pretty tasty so far, I'd say.
Wow. The smell of it's really interesting. I get a lot more smoke and like resin in that aroma than I do in the actual taste.
Yeah, resin. Good example or description. Yeah, completely. I think it tastes crisper and fresher and like more of those high notes than it smells. I think it smells more kind of earthy and I'm not sure if this is a blend or not, but it certainly has a variety of different
it really does
color in it in terms of just light, dark, more red, more orange.
A lot of
green
things with long stems, long leaves, long stems.
Yeah, the material itself clearly is not machine cut or anything like that. Or at least doesn't appear to be. Quite nice. Let's keep going and then we'll assess the mom test.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Pretty dynamic, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's really coming into its own right now, getting the body. It's not quite as sweet. I think it has a little bit of a pleasant bitterness to it.
Yeah.
Mom test?
I'd say...
I'm skeptical.
Yeah, I'm skeptical overall. I'd say for teas in the raw pu'erh genre that are on the young end, probably pretty good.
Totally.
But that's like not a very favorable category to the moms to begin with. So bad on the not a great mom test tea.
I totally agree. This tea is really dynamic, and one of the most interesting parts about drinking it is that I feel like its taste is much different than the lingering taste.
Yeah.
And the it has a kind of a rounder flavor later on. It's definitely bold, a little bitter, maybe a little bit almost, I don't want to say like creamy, but almost more of those sort of like fattier flavors. If you were to eat some like cacao butter or something like that. Although it doesn't taste that chocolatey, but kind of the same example. This is, I like it. It's definitely good. Getting a little bit more of that residual pine thing going on now.
Right. Yeah, I think these later two steeps are a little bit stronger. I can start to feel some of the tea energy sort of in my diaphragm going on. So,
which is going to be a good quality. Good quality pu'erh is going to do that to you. Pu'erh is a full body experience, as you can tell. In the poo burps, excuse me.
Yeah.
While this might not pass the mom test, I think it's certainly passing the James and Denny test. I'm enjoying it.
Which may be the opposite thing of a mom test sometimes.
It might be true, yeah. I mean, frankly, you have enough tea, and it's kind of just like the novel tea of new flavors alone is worthwhile.
Yeah.
This tea certainly looks like it can continue to brew out for quite a bit of time. Look at that color.
Yeah.
It really, really, just see if we can do this here. Just really golden.
Yeah. Here's a question for you tea nerds. Have any of you had success serving raw pu'erh to your mothers or to people that are just newer to tea? Like, because I've always had mixed results of it, and I think that's why Denny and I tend to be a little bit skeptical of it in the mom test.
Yeah.
But we're both very enthusiastic about raw pu'erh, so
yeah, definitely.
Open question to you guys.
Yeah, and maybe even if you want to get specific, if you've given some folks some older, I mean, not everyone has access to some of the amazing stuff we've had on the show, so maybe you haven't had something that's older than 10 years that's a raw pu'erh, but if you have you noticed that people like those more than younger raw pu'erhs? I think, gosh, there's so much variance in the category. Some of my favorite teas are those freshly pressed young raws that have those really sweet floral vibes with a little gasolininess to them as well. So, yeah, there's just pu'erh is a huge category.
So here's a question for you, Denny. Since you like those teas, what do you think this tea would have been like if you had it right when it was pressed? Do you think it would have fit into that category?
I think that there's enough residual strength in this tea that I'm still tasting, even just sitting here and chatting. I still have this sort of like strong mouthfeel, and definitely the strong pu'erh vibes that I think this tea might have been a little bit hard to approach earlier in its life cycle. And now I think it's probably cooled off a little bit. And even though it has been probably dry aged, nevertheless, it's still got quite a bit of oomph to it. So I was saying I think that this probably would be potentially a little bit harsh earlier on in this life cycle, but now I think it's hitting its stride perfectly, and I suspect that it will continue to improve.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. It does seem like a strong tea. And for me, I'm not totally sure how I would have liked this tea while young. I think it definitely has plenty of potency at this point, that it seems to be going in the right direction at least. Yeah,
absolutely. And I wonder if this tea were stored in a wetter environment, if we would end up, what it would be like.
Might be a little smoother, but I think in the long run, this sort of aging would probably be better for the tea.
To its advantage, yeah. I mean, there's definitely, especially earlier on in the steepings, and this tea is absolutely well described as dynamic. There was a lot more crispness and high notes. When we say high notes, we just sort of mean, like, I don't know how you would describe it, just sort of like, crisp, more fruity, more young tasting, more green in essence. And now it's getting sort of those like deeper pu'erh earthiness, spiciness, maybe even a little bit sour, and definitely at this point I'd say a little bitter, but again, not in a bad way. Gosh, this continues to.
So the water cooled down a little bit, so I steeped that for a little long. That might be a little strong though. We'll see.
YOLO. Tea YOLO.
Wow, the smell of this, it continues to just be that sort of like pine and resininess. It's quite surprising to me, actually. I kind of expected to sort of evolve and get closer to how the tea tastes, but
it does. Almost maybe like a frankincense smell. Which is one of my more esoteric things I'm going to say on the show. Ooh, look at me.
Frankensauce.
Yeah, totally.
I love that movie.
It should be my rap name. Yeah. Get a little Frankensauce in on TeaDB. Just in case you thought we were actually being serious. Cheers.
Cheers.
I think this is a full-bodied tea, both in the cup, and this just from the experience too. Definitely getting some good energy, getting a buzz. This is good. I'm enjoying it. I think this tea would benefit from more age too.
I agree.
Like a lot. I mean, it doesn't mean a lot, but I think it just could be an excellent tea in another 5 or 10 years. But for now, it's quite tasty.
Yeah.
I think the more I'm tasting this, the more that it would probably be a little harsh if it was first thing.
And it's not like this tea is terribly harsh now. It's just sort of at like this midway point where it's like somewhat smooth out, but like you could just tell that this tea is potent and it can like.
I'm feeling it.
It can be mellowed a little bit more.
Yeah. Really dynamic, like almost hints of some fruitiness, just a little bit. Yeah, this is great. Shout out to teaurchin.com if you guys want to check those homies out. Thanks, Stefan, for the sample. Always
I'm sorry, I don't know what Stefan is. I think you mean the manatee.
I am so sorry. The manatee.
Yeah. That's an O in the middle, not an O-F. Yeah.
Exactly.
Cheers to you, Stefan.
Yeah,
or
cheers.
Manatee.
Yep.
Okay. That was definitely stronger. Getting some bitter vibes in that, but the sweetness comes fast, so giving it the stress test.
Yeah. Which is a worthwhile endeavor. This is one of those teas that you can step away from for a few minutes and just still experience. Yeah, definitely enjoyable.
Yeah, I can tell you that brew was not a mom-friendly brew right there.
That was more of a rocket fuel brew.
Yeah, that is the Red Bull brew right there.
So again, check out teaurchin.com. Tea Urchin, good stuff. We've brought them on, brought Stefan's teas, Manatee's teas onto the show quite a few times at this point, and always enjoy them. If you folks want to learn more about tea as well, James?
Yeah, please hit that thumbs up button on this video if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button if you want to hear about more of our videos when they come out. We have a huge archive to draw from, so if you want to see other teas from Tea Urchin, please look back. We've reviewed at least 3 or 4 in the past few years back. So check those out. Check out some articles. I think I've written a little bit about Tea Urchin and some of their teas a couple of years back. And I actually believe that this tea is on sale at their site. I'm not sure for how long. It normally sells in the hundreds, but it is selling for $79 for a 357 gram cake, which I would say is a pretty darn good deal.
That's a super accessible price point for a tea of this age and this quality. Definitely check it out.
I think that's a pretty great deal for raw Pu'erh, for sure. I totally agree with Denny. So check that out if you are interested. Buy a sample if that's too much for you. I think we both recommend this tea, and we thank you guys for tuning in, and cheers.